Yes, today we're going to start with this PC build, and for starters I did install the I/O shield. It's something that I always forget.
Yes.
So I installed it at first. And now we have the professional in PC builds and cable management Giuliano here. And
hi everyone.
In the build. We have the motherboard here, which is ASUS Prime B350 Plus. And yes, it's much better. Like it gets higher, and it would be easier.
That's
for
perfect.
us. And this is the motherboard. You know that the case of the motherboard is anti-static too.
Yes.
So prevent
Obviously.
Well, it's kind of stuck here, but no, I got it. It looks very beautiful, actually.
Do you need the other glove?
No, I don't think I need any gloves even for the motherboard. It's just the case for the processor.
You know, safety procedures.
Take the part of installing the motherboard, and I will help you from this part.
So let me see what we have here.
It aligns with those holes here, I think. Yes, you have to align it with the hole. Just fix the alignments. And just align it with the I/O shield. All of it. It must stand. It must stand, Giuliano, to align it with the I/O shield. We move forward after we fixed some problems with the I/O shield. We install the motherboard, and it's easy as pie. Just we line it up, and we check if it's all lined up on this side.
The I/O shield, yes.
Yes, it's lined up. I think
so. Yeah.
We don't need any further just a little bit push, like this.
Because we need to align it with the screws, screw holes.
But where are the screw? Is this screw hole?
Yes,
But we need the screws. My screws followed up with the case.
Actually, we need 4. You see?
And we got the screws, and Giuliano is starting the process of screwing them on the motherboard. I will get him more of them. We need a couple more.
Yeah,
that
one is perfect.
Okay, I'll get
not a lot of hard pushing.
So you
just a bit of gentle touch.
You just can chat to our viewers as long as I'm getting you the screws.
Yeah. So you can see we have 4 and 1 in the middle. So I installed first of all the middle one to stabilize the motherboard in the middle. Everything is perfect, aligned with the 4 screw holes. So only we need just to get the screws and install them.
Yes, and those
what we thought is like we install the processor.
Yes. And
then we plug some kind of these plugs. Yeah, maybe memories.
Or the plugs, yes, as you said.
It doesn't matter actually.
Yes. And as I told you, we're going to use the SATA ports that are getting actually blocked off the graphics card, so we don't lose any others.
Are you sure?
Yes, it's the same one. Wow. Do you have a problem installing it?
Oh my god.
We're getting old.
Because if you see, it's not the same one.
It's the same.
Are you sure of it?
Yes.
No.
Is it smaller one?
No,
okay.
Because you see there is a gap.
There is an edge. And those ones have an edge.
There is a gap.
Okay, I'll try to get you the right ones. I'm not that good guy in the case of screws.
No.
I think it's the one that has edge on.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, this is the one. Continue.
Let me see.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. You see, we have like kind of gap here, or what you said, an edge.
Because this kind of case followed up with lots of screws, which made it a bit hard to decide which one. When I bought my case, which was the Corsair, I got just a limited set, and it was much easier.
Yes. We did actually build it together also.
Yes. And those are the remaining 2, the kind that you like and the motherboard likes.
Yes.
Even though the motherboard isn't the Z series, the B series looks very gorgeous.
Yeah, I agree with you. I totally agree.
Yes, line it up there. Do you think that we need the last screw too, or is it fine with 4?
I don't know.
I think it's fine with 4. You don't need more than 4 to stabilize the motherboard.
You actually need only 3 actually.
Yes. But
one here and one here and one in the middle.
Yeah,
I think
but we got the extra 4. So. Yes, now what do we have to start with?
I think we plug maybe first. or we install the processor?
It's your call. I don't have any problems.
We
I
do
have
this
some.
kind of
I have only
cable.
some. I have
cables.
only some view problems. I can't read that good. But so I start with the I start with the processor and I leave the cables for you.
Okay.
Like my eyesight is not that good. We need just to open up this one. I do it with this glorious pen, and I try to open it up, and I open it up. Did I open it up? No, I don't think so. I didn't open it up.
Easy, mate.
I'm opening it up.
Really?
The hard way. By the way, I broke the pen. If you heard the
I heard some cracks.
yes, I broke the pen. I'm just a bit aggressive with those stuff. Yes, a whole packaging, and it's just empty. You see, the processor is actually here.
Wow.
And we got some Ryzen sticker that we can stick on the case later.
Let me see. Can you show me, please?
Yes.
Wow.
Okay, let's see if you can line it up for me in this way. I need just. I'm gonna tell you something. We see some lining on this one. It's the lining on this side, and we have just to line it with the processor. Just take a look. And this is the processor for starters. Hello. And I will approach.
Mr. Ryzen is coming
And I will
out and
approach it.
hot.
I'll approach it. And now it's the turn of the processor. We were installing the processor, and we had just a bit problem with just lining it up. Giuliano, watch your cables.
Sorry, mate.
Yes, we see this triangle here, the golden one. There's another triangle on the motherboard, actually on the socket of the CPU. It's not very clear. We used a magnifier to see it, and it's actually on this side. So we just need slightly to line it up with our Ryzen CPU and just install it slow. You don't need to do anything. I just dropped it in the right place. After you do that, it's much easier than Intel. No cracking sounds as Intel CPU does. You just take this and lift it down. And you
I think there is a socket for it. Yes.
And it's done. The CPU is installed, and it's already. Just pay attention for the triangle and install the CPU just carefully and gently, because you don't want to hurt any pins, since the pins is on the CPU. And now we're done with the part of the CPU. It was just easy. It's much easier than installing an Intel CPU. But the only struggle was the triangle, the yellow one. And Giuliano is trying to fix the cables for us on the motherboard since my eyesight isn't that good. I use glasses.
It's taking a lot of pressure. You see, we have this kind of USB cables that come from the case.
Yes.
Here?
Yes, for the...
And we just need to plug them correctly. You see there is a gap here.
Yes.
You need to put it like this kind of way.
Yes.
And install it. A little of pressure. Yeah.
And I want just to mention that we got the processor on its second day after its official release in the United States.
It's a USB in again.
It's the 1600X.
USB again.
Yes, since the motherboard supports USB 3.
Actually, we have a problem here.
What's the problem?
This goes where?
What is this?
This audio.
It's the HD audio. Just
it's that one, because
I ask you
can see there is a gap in the middle.
I asked you so because my eyesight wasn't that good.
Let me
It's
see.
this one. You see?
Yeah.
It's the empty one.
Aligned.
So I help with the cable.
Did you see where's the gap?
Yes, I just installed it.
Yes.
But it's going all fine. Now after we fixed the onboard pins for the case, for the power start and the LED, it was just a bit struggle to read what's written on the motherboard, so we read from the manual and just installed all the pins on the right way. And now the computer owner, Garo, is going to install the DDR4 memories. Each one of them is Corsair Vengeance LPX. It means the low profile, 8 gigabits each. And it runs at the overclocked speed of 3000 megahertz. And we're just going to plug them on the dual channel socket. He's just going to line it up.
You can see here is he is attempting to
I don't know,
install them.
it feels just a bit hard to install the memories at first, but
Yeah.
they fall in their place.
You
It
have
took
this
the
kind of.
second one.
Don't forget
We're doing the
to
dual channel.
Yes.
Like we're skipping one and starting one. Dual channel.
It's colored with black and black and gray and gray, so you know it's like
If
a
you
dual
want
channel.
to go to quad channel, you just install the 4 RAMs. You do the
Yes.
rest.
So it's done.
Yes, I think.
Let me see. Let me check.
Yes.
Yes,
Everything
it's
is
installed friendly.
they are installed pretty good. And we chose the low profile. We didn't want to have any problems with them. And they are in a red color. They are good. They fit with the motherboard at least.
Yes. Everything seems to be red here.
Yes. Installed the hard drive, which is the Western Digital Caviar Blue 1 terabyte, into a socket of those, and it's not that hard. You just have to line it up with the holes on the
Sides.
yes, on the sides, and just then, as easy as it is, just to slide it back into the into the case. I was going to say the motherboard, but it's the case. And now we have to manage the cables from the backside, and I strongly recommend that you connect the hard drives to those SATA ports so you don't lose them and when you apply the graphics card and install it here. So because it's going to be blocked anyway, so it's easier to you if you install the
hard drive
the hard drive
to the
those,
SATA
one of
cables.
those SATA ports. So we need just a SATA connector. I think we got it in the somewhere around.
You will find it with the hard, maybe. No?
I think it came along with.
Let me check, maybe here.
So we found
So
the
we found the
we found
cables.
the SATA cable. I think it's 2 SATA cables, right? Yes, they are 2. We're just going to open it up.
Yes.
There are 2. It comes with 2, but we need only 1, I think.
No. I think one is for the power and one for the.
No. The power is it? No, it's just SATA. The both are SATA, and you get the power from the power supply. And we
okay.
you just have to turn it on the other side so I connect things properly. Everything should be stable, even though that we slide it. So it's. Do we prefer this one? Do we choose this one?
Yeah, I feel like.
Okay, I'll take this one, and it's just a plug. It's done, and we just have to get the cable from this side, right, Giuliano?
Yes.
We're doing right with the cable. Okay, we slide it back to the other side.
Yes. Yes.
And we got the cable here. If I recall it right.
Our cable management, everything.
Yes,
we have done.
You do the cable management stuff. Just I'm going to make sure if it's
Lined up, yeah.
in the right way.
Can you
I
see?
can't. Yes, I saw it. It's lined up in this way. So I just have to plug it this way. Come on.
Nice and easy.
It's just a bit hard. Yes, and I'm done.
Sorry.
I just plugged it in. Yes, and we got this done too. The
hard drive?
The hard drive is done too.
Yes.
I suggest that we start with the power supply if we need to do.
I think we should take the power supply, maybe.
We take the power, which is the Corsair CX editions, the CX semi-modular edition, and it's 650 watts. I'm just gonna pause this for a second as I unbox this and install it in a place. Now we just screwed in this power supply. It's just simple 4 screws on this side, and we just passed the cable for the main power supply from the back side. But because of the bad design of this case, I wouldn't recommend this design. We couldn't fit this CPU
power supply cable from here.
Cable from the back side because just the gap here is very small. On the Corsair cases, it's much bigger and it's much easier to pass the cable. This cable would go here, I suppose. So, is it lined up on this side, or? Giuliano, can you just take a look on this?
Yeah, you can see there is a kind of
Yes. Okay, so it's right.
the teeth.
Yes. So I just want to make sure so we don't do anything wrong. And now
Yes.
the main motherboard power, and it's just inserted on this way. We just have it in place now. It takes a bit of power just to line it up in its place, and it's just installed. We have the main power cord for the motherboard installed too. What do you have? What do you have left now?
We
What?
have only the GTX.
We have the graphics card,
Yes.
and
I think we're done. Maybe
I propose to do the graphics card last after we install the CPU,
the fan,
the
CPU fan.
And now we're going to install the CPU fan. And first of all, we have to apply the thermal paste, which is my favorite model, and it's the Arctic Silver 5, and I strongly recommend it. I use it for moreover than 3 years. And we just apply a tiny bit. It doesn't have to be that much. It's just as P. And I think this amount is just fairly enough. And it's
Yeah, I agree with you. That's enough, I think.
yes, I'm just gonna put the rest of it on top. So
Yes.
just
As you can see here,
it's just
that's
acid.
enough. Yeah.
You don't it spreads itself by itself. You don't have to put pressure, or you don't have to do anything extra over this.
So
Some people put an extra of it and it spills on the edges, and that's not very good. And now, for the sake of easy installation, we're just going to install the CPU fan from this side. And as you see, this must be lined up with this side. And we just put it on, and we line it up with this hole. Yes, I lined it up with the hole, and I think the cooler is installed correctly.
yes, you need only the key. Okay.
Yes. So we lined it up on this. It's just a little tiny notch. If you line it up right and just plug this thing inside of it, inside the both of them, there are two metal pieces. You have to install this bridge between the cooler and the lock between both of them, and then just a slight, just this one would be on this side. Just slide it to the right side, and it will just close in its way. And on this side, there is also
be careful not to stick the cable between the rams and the fan.
Yes, and there's this cable, which is for the fan of the cooler. You just install it on the white output for the fan, for the CPU fan. And the reason I chose the low profile rams is because they don't conflict with our fan for the cooling. That was I was afraid of it's going to conflict with it, but the low profile is the best choice, so you will be guaranteed that it won't conflict with this like with the height of the cooler, and it gets installed very like in a very fitty way. That's why we installed the RAM before the cooler and left the cooler to the last part, semi-last part. We have only the graphics card, which is left. And I also connected the power cable for this Western Digital hard drive from here, which we have the modular power supply, and it was just connecting the cable from here and passing it to the back side. And this was it for the power supply for this part, as you see. And we're almost done. Yes. And we have just to fix the graphics card and crack a place open for it. I think we need 2 places for the graphics card. Can it be cracked, Garo?
Yes. Yes.
Am I going just to pull it, or is it a pull type?
Wait, just you can try it from it.
Yes, it seems it's a pull
Or
type.
You can do it.
Is it pull type, or yes, it seems to be.
Actually, it's like kind of stuck here.
No,
It's attached here.
Yes, but
There's 2 points of attach.
But you can just take it out. Yes. Now we are installing the ASUS Strix GTX 1070, which is the overclock edition, and we actually struggled to fit it in. We have to remove a couple of the PCI Express those back plates on the case. So now it fits easily as I suppose. I just have to look from the other side so it lines up with everything right.
Yeah.
Is it? Am I lining it right?
Maybe.
Just, I think
Yes.
now.
Yeah. Now.
Just be careful about it.
And everything is just lined up pretty
Yes.
good. And
Push it to the
just
bottom.
going.
Can I get
I
the
need
light?
just a lighting a bit. Yes, and I installed it right in the place.
Yes.
And it's
The
installed.
lock.
The lock is locked.
And Sim, can you take a look from here? From
Yes.
this side?
Yes, it's
I think
Yeah,
it's,
I think
it's
it's
all
done,
good.
Yes.
it's all good.
Nice.
And now we have just maybe not 10 centimeters, maybe 10 millimeters from the space here. But it's, however, it doesn't have any problems with the case and the SSD slots. And now we pretty have to just screw some screws here on the graphics card. So we
from some screws.
Giuliano fetch some screws, and as you screw the screws, I will try just to plug the graphics card's power, which is the 8-pin power plug.
Okay. Yeah, they fit perfectly.
So
And I
Giuliano,
need the screwdriver.
Giuliano takes care of that one,
Screwdriver.
and I have just to plug this hard drive back because I had a problem. We didn't have any
Oh
problem
my god.
with it, but
Can I get the little one?
It was. Where
Where it is?
do you want those ones?
No, no, I mean the little screwdriver.
Screwdriver, here it is.
Yes.
Yeah, perfect.
And I take the easy job, which is installing those pins, which are not that difficult.
Oh my god.
Are those pins?
I'm having a hard time with these screws. For Christ's sake.
Just
Yeah.
Yes, I think yes. Yes.
And those are the... I'm installing just the power, and while he's screwing. And it's just 8-pin. I just installed it this way, and I'm pretty sure it's the correct way to install it. And I just making sure that they all in place. They seem to be in place.
Let's hope so.
Garo, can you give me just a bit
Yes.
of light on this side so I just make sure so it doesn't blow? Garo, do you want your graphic cards to blow? I don't think so. Yes, and we're pretty done with the power pins for the 8 power pins for the graphics card, and it's correctly installed in the PCI Express. It's a big card, it's a big graphic card. It has 3 fans with superior cooling system with zero noise functionality, or whatever you say. It's just feature.
Yeah. Just like noise cancellation.
Yes,
I mean,
and it's pretty decent
think
cooling, like
Yes.
for the OC edition. Are we done? Did you screw in there?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you are
It's
done.
firmly installed. Yeah.
So we are apart, and the PC build is almost complete. The only thing that we have remaining is the cable management,
Yeah.
which is Giuliano is going to take part of. And I don't have anything to do with the cable management. I just install parts, and that's my profession.
Just
and-
leave everything to me. The rest of it.
And Giuliano is the cable management guy. And I think we are pretty much like we connected most of the cables. You have to make sure you connected everything, and you do it step by step. The power cables are very important, and just make sure that you didn't mix up with those on the board for the start. And it's not that critical thing, but for the start and the LED, they are in a bad, like they are situated in a bad place. Like it's not very easy to manage those pins, but we install them right, and we just take a look on the manual. You don't have to read everything. Take a look on the manual, and it will lead you. And we're pretty done with everything, and everything is installed, and the PC build is almost complete. And Giuliano, take the lead. Do you have any last words?
I think everything is done. We hope everything will work.
We hope so.
I just done everything with the Windows. I installed it on the flash. We just booted.
Yes,
And we hope for the best.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks.